Another day, another metric ton of Switch 2 stuff to discuss, including new leaks, images, details, and maybe some pushback. So, good morning, Mario, and good morning, Switch fans. Hope you're all doing it fantastic out there today. It's almost Christmas time. It is still pretty warm here in Phoenix, Arizona, but I hope you're having fun wherever you are and whatever you celebrate. Hit that like button if you enjoy these videos. What's going on, everybody? It's Zach from SwitchForce. Another Switch 2 accessory leak. This one popped up just this morning. It is a grip for a single Joy-Con, but what I find really funny about this, and what I'm not sure how it's going to work, is because the Joy-Con are bigger, all right, like, where's my Joy-Con? Joy-Con! Do I have Joy-Con here? Okay, this is not a Joy-Con, but well, that's not really a Joy-Con. Look at the Joy-Con and see how the stick is in the dead center. The stick is in the dead center, and that's not going to help. I mean, the stick was kind of in the center before, but it's a little bit off. It's a little bit off center. It's hard to see with this Pokemon Purple Joy-Con. The stick is not in the direct center. So if you were to use it, like, yes, your fingers are off center, but I feel like the stick is so much more in the center. If you put it in one of those kind of grips like that, like, how uncomfortable is that going to be? I don't know that you can even hold that thing properly and use that stick. Your thumb is going to have extreme thumb stretchage. I don't know. The bigger Joy-Con with the stick in the middle, to me, like, a bigger Joy-Con might, in theory, make single Joy-Con play better, but at the same time, a bigger Joy-Con, to me, may also make single Joy-Con play just as awkward or just as ergonomically uncomfortable. The next image we see is a wheel for the Joy-Con. Now, this would be a bigger wheel than the Switch wheel could be, in theory, because the Joy-Con takes up more space, and then we have the Joy-Con in here. Now, this is interesting to note because, as we know from the Joy-Con we have right now, the player indicator is on the inside of the Joy-Con. In this instance, the player indicator is going to be on the front-facing side of the Joy-Con, right up here, because it does have this extra piece that is the magnetic click-in. Now, one of the things that I think this shows and highlights that's interesting is how much more secure this is going to be, and I think how much more stabilizing it's going to be to play in handheld mode. Like, some of the big issues with handheld mode are, 1, the fact that the Joy-Con are small, 2, the sticks aren't that great, 3, the buttons are tiny, and 4, it feels a bit cramped over time if you have bigger hands. I do think part of it also does boil down to, like, it's not like it's going to bend and crack in half, but the Joy-Con on there, like, it's not really the most stable system. And especially if this new system is going to be bigger while maintaining a very similar weight, then this right here is going to be huge. This shows that there is a lot more of the Joy-Con getting stuck into the actual Switch console itself, and I think should provide for a more stable, sturdy connection, as well as a more stable, sturdy feel when you have this system in your hands. Now, this looks pretty cool here. And I really, I do like the fact that the player indicator is going to be on the front. To me, the funniest one is this, because the stick right in the center is like a controller that nobody does that. Like, when we make a controller, we put the sticks offset for a reason. Nobody has the stick in the center like it's some sort of nose. Now, let's go to Samus Hunter, who, let's see if they knows more than they used to. Samus Hunter is someone who had a lot of poor leaks, but then has come through in the clutch lately with some better ones. They were the, I think, only person who was spot on about Emio the Smiling Man being a Famicom Detective Club game, when everyone else thought it was Nintendo's next, like, horror foray. And they called the Donkey Kong Direct, highlighting the new Donkey Kong portion of Super Nintendo World. They're now saying third-party studios have been waiting for the new generation to be able to release their games on Nintendo. And I'm not just talking about porting from PS4, but also the current generation. Think of BioWare, From Software, or CD Projekt, but also Japanese studios like Namco or Atlus. Now, they're quote tweeting Nintendo's tweet about, play modern AAA offerings on your Nintendo system. If you want to hear more about that, we discussed it in yesterday's video, and I talked about how, like, yes, I do think the volume of third-party offerings is going to be very big, but I would be cautious about the, oh my gosh, they're going to play and look 100% amazing. Nonetheless, Samus Hunter today is saying BioWare, From Software, or CD Projekt. Now, some people are interpreting this as they're saying, oh, all 3 of these are going to be here. The grammar usage of or and think makes me think they're just suggesting potential developers, potential publishers, and Japanese studios like Namco and Atlus. But if we're going to say, Samus Hunter does have a little bit of awkward grammar from time to time. Third-party studios have been waiting the new generation. Like, it's not perfect. If they're including BioWare, to me, this is Dragon Age Veilguard. From Software, this is Elden Ring. I don't know that the new Elden Ring game, the 3-player co-op, is going to be there. I guess a lot of that depends on how good Nintendo's online is and how intense that game is running on PS5 and the systems that it's launching on. CD Projekt, to me, I know they just announced Witcher 4, but to me, this is Cyberpunk 2077, which, look, I don't think it's going to be as novel as the Switch 1, but I still think there is a market to capture of recent-ish games that people would love to play on the go. I have a Steam Deck. It's still very cool and fun to play Death Stranding, Red Dead Redemption 2, Cyberpunk 2077, games like that on the go that can't be played on the go on the Switch, and that maybe you missed when they first initially launched. Quite a few games that fit this category that don't have to be brand spanking new. But for example, if Nintendo was able to get, God of War on Nintendo Switch, I know that's a huge crossover, but I still think that would hold some pull. If Nintendo put Red Dead Redemption 2, I still think that would hold some pull. If Nintendo put Cyberpunk 2077 with Phantom Liberty on there, I still think that holds some pull. And obviously there's even more recent games, things like what just came out that I'm thinking of at the tip of my tongue that I'm forgetting and feeling like a silly guy. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. If that was able to be on Nintendo Switch 2, it's not new, but I still think that would pull a lot of audience. And as long as it ran well, it would be very interesting. If we go to Japanese studios like Namco and Atlus, you got Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, you've got Metaphor ReFantazio. Those type of games fit. Now, again, I don't know if Samus Hunter is saying that they know that these companies are going to be there or they're just hypothesizing, but I will also point out that these are the exact studios that would be making games that have all been rumored for the Switch 2. Metaphor ReFantazio has been rumored for the Switch 2. Cyberpunk and Witcher stuff has been rumored for Switch 2. Elden Ring is one of the most desired rumored for Switch 2. BioWare, Mass Effect Legendary Collection was supposed to come to Switch. It never did. That could easily be their day one for the Switch 2. So Samus Hunter could be guessing. Samus Hunter could be in the know. But I think what's more interesting is Samus Hunter's newest post saying Nintendo may advance the next generation Switch reveal with an announcement that possibly could come before DK. This is to address recent leaks, especially of accessories, to ensure official news for the public. The remaining announcements of Switch games may come a little later. Okay. This is where I'm going to give you my SwitchForce take that maybe is different than some other takes. This, to me, reeks of nonsense, all right, for a couple of reasons. DK launches on January 17th, okay? That means that they're saying that Switch 2 should be announced before January 17th. Now, before January 17th is totally plausible. In fact, I think it's totally likely. To me, this right here is very bizarre, and it shows, in my opinion, maybe a lack of knowledge. I don't think Nintendo gives a crap whether the Switch 2 is revealed before or after DK. I don't think they care. I think the sales of Donkey Kong Country Returns are not impacted at all by a Switch 2. I think the people that want to play some Donkey Kong are going to play some Donkey Kong. I think the people that aren't following the Switch 2 or don't want to fork over $400 or just got a new Switch for Christmas are going to be down to play with their favorite ape that they saw in the Mario movie, or maybe if they were lucky enough at Super Nintendo World, or just because Nintendo has been pushing old Donkey Kong games on Switch Online. I don't think that the Switch 2 and DK have any correlation, good, bad, in between. I don't think it matters. I think what it does is it puts a date in the middle of the month, and most likely this thing gets revealed in the first half of the month, and Samus Hunter can look correct. Or they can take the possibly and say, well, they wanted to wait till DK. I don't think Nintendo's Switch 2 reveal has anything to do with the timing of DK at all. If it's in the first half of the month, it's because they wanted it to be. If it's in the second half of the month, it's because they want it to be. It has nothing to do with DK in the middle of the month, which is kind of a throwaway game where they revealed and released the overview trailer weeks in advance. It doesn't really have many new features. They're charging full price for it, and it's just a cash in on the DK name before they eventually, finally, hopefully one day, maybe give us a real new Donkey Kong. The second part. This is to address recent leaks, especially of accessories, to ensure official news for the public. I don't think Nintendo is going to react to accessory leaks. You're telling me that this is why they're bumping up the date. You're telling me that they had a presentation scheduled for, say, January 23rd, and now they're bumping it up to January 16th because of this? Because of D-Brand? If anything, in my opinion, that gives more clout and more weight to these leakers. Now, do I think Nintendo likes leaks of any sort? I do not. Do I think Nintendo was happy about the accessories being leaked and the general idea of the Switch 2 being leaked and the look of the Switch 2 being leaked? I do not. Do I think Nintendo is going to reorganize and audible their launch plans because of some Reddit posts? I also do not. I also don't think these things are as widespread and far traveled as we might believe. Yes, you and I are knowing about this. Yes, you and I are focusing on this. But remember, there's 140 million Switches out there. Of those 140 million people, how many are following Samus Hunter and r/Nintendo Switch 2? A very small percentage. I would say single digits. Therefore, Nintendo is mostly concerned with their 90% that is not super hardcore following this. And they don't care about the accessory leaks because those people haven't seen them. I want to believe Samus Hunter. I want to believe they're in the know. But this tweet right here to me, in my own personal opinion, is kind of reeking of, I'm playing both sides. I don't really have any concrete information. I want to say something that's relevant and that will work out for me either way. Nintendo may advance the reveal before EDK. Wow, they called it. If it doesn't happen, they decided to stick to their guns. Samus Hunter doesn't have a leak of their own, so they're coming out and talking about accessory leaks. Now, this is all very interesting because we also have another person that is pushing back that is going to be right here. This is Spheromancer. All right, Spheromancer is not a leaker. Spheromancer is not something we've talked about ever before. Spheromancer is the moderator or one of the moderators for the Gaming Leaks and Rumors Reddit forum. Now, our Reddit leaks that we've discussed thus far have come from r/Nintendo Switch 2. All right, that's where we've seen the images. That's where we're getting these accessory leaks. And that's where the person who supposedly has the Switch 2 and verified the information, the moderator, that's where it's all originated. It did not come from Gaming Leaks and Rumors, which is a bigger Reddit. So keep that in mind when I read what I'm about to read. Okay, I'll use this to reply to. I've seen the images going around. They're referencing the Switch 2 image that I guess has been shown to the moderator of r/Nintendo Switch 2. I will say that it is nowhere near enough to verify if anything is real or not. So the claims that this stuff is real should definitely have never been made by the mods of the other sub in my opinion. It's just pictures of the dock. I can say that to me it looks like legitimate hardware, severely cropped to hide the background of wherever this person was according to himself. There's obviously no telling if it's actually the Switch 2 or just some random dock looking hardware though. The Nintendo fanboy in me wants to believe it's real, but there's just no way of knowing what the heck it is over 2 photos. I also was able to get the details to one of my Nintendo sources, and they don't seem to think it's real at all. Now, they go on to note, and they say that there is a Switch 2 logo on it. They're not sharing the images. The person seems very paranoid, and they don't believe it. Now, this could be real. The Spheromancer could be onto something. Maybe the r/Nintendo Switch 2 mod is not evaluating it properly, but there's also the chance that this guy just wants to keep his forum, his subreddit, more legit, more in the know, and sort of be the doubting Thomas to not give credit to the r/Nintendo Switch 2. There's also just like the fact that nobody really knows, and whether you say you're able to show your Nintendo sources or not, who knows if they're actually good Nintendo sources, who knows if they're actually legitimate, who knows if their well has been poisoned by fake Nintendo leaks or by Nintendo ninjas. I think this, to me, is kind of a nothing burger. I would not say, oh, it's all fake. I would also not say it's all real. I mean, I think it's more likely that it is real than it's not, but I think we're throwing doubt into the equation now. And unfortunately, Samus Hunter's post to me just sort of tipped my hat in that direction a bit. And then this Spheromancer, Gaming Leaks and Rumors mod post, throws more doubt into it. Do I believe that the person... Well, let me say it this way. Do I believe that this is what the Joy-Con and the Switch 2 is going to look like? Yes, I do. 95%. Do I believe that the person that says that they, have the Nintendo Switch 2 in hand, do I believe, like, this is what it's going to look like? Yes. Do I believe that they have it in hand? I'm down to more like 75%. I still believe this is what the Switch 2 is going to look like. I still believe it's going to have a U-shaped dock. I still believe it's going to have the release buttons. I'm a little more cautious on whether the person from r/Nintendo Switch 2 actually has the system, or they just are basing it off of all these other leaks. I do think where there's smoke, there's fire. I do think there's a ton of leaks at this point, and the likelihood that every leak is just based off of a different leak is unlikely. I think it's much more likely that somebody somewhere, there is a kernel of truth, and it has been corroborated, and more people are contributing bits of information. But the idea that someone has a Switch 2 and is holding it out there and can answer anything and is going to reveal it on Christmas Day, I'm just dropping it down from very likely to likely. It's not even because of Spheromancer entirely. It's not even because of Samus Hunter entirely. I guess it's also just because thinking about this and looking at this, it's much more likely that people have seen, people have, been privy to 3D scans, like the D-Brand CEO, more than actually holding the system. But nonetheless, take a peek at this. Dr. Sergen Toto, who is a gaming analyst, tweets that Nintendo stock continues its ridiculously good run and hit an all-time high Tuesday in Japan. That's insane. Sky-high expectations regarding Switch 2. Nintendo stock has been steadily growing, obviously, since the launch of the Switch, but it's seen ups and downs. And if you look at this chart closely, you'll see that recently it was quite down. Nintendo stock was quite down here because there was no Switch 2. By many accounts, there wasn't a major, game-changing title release this year. There was no Tears of the Kingdom to give us a peak. There was just a valley. But now it's skyrocketing up. And if anything, this just tells you that the Switch 2 is about to be announced. The announcement is imminent. The vibes are good. The third-party support seems to be very strong. Nintendo's first-party titles, they use the delay to get them in line, get them ready. And the market is feeling like Nintendo is about to make a very big move that is going to capitalize on this stock price and is going to capitalize on what they've been planning for a while now. This lead up, this build up, has seen lots of ebbs and flows, but most recently we've been in a flow. We're back to an ebb, and whether you believe, Samus Hunter, whether you believe the wheel with the stick in the center, whether you believe a picture that looks just like the Switch, whether you believe Spheromancer, whether you believe, r/Nintendo Switch 2 that they do in fact, know exactly what it is and this dock is going to be super cool. The stock price is telling you that something big is coming. The January reveal in the first half seems insanely likely, and if nothing else, we are going to see this thing very soon. But like I said, I'm at 95% this is still what the Switch 2 and the dock are going to look like. 75% that person does have a Switch 2 in hands. I think this looks absolutely so funny, and I do worry about the ergonomics, even though a bigger Joy-Con should, in theory, feel better and be stronger. I like the fact that it's got the player indicator. I like the fact that it's going to have a better connection. I like the fact that it's not going to drift, but this Joy-Con in the middle is a little worrisome for single Joy-Con play, and I don't know how much it's actually going to be better than the Switch 1 in that way. In every other way, it should be significantly better. And this stock price is very good news. Samus Hunter makes me worried. But what do you think? Let me know your take in the comments down below, everybody. We'll continue to follow and trace the trail, the mysterious legend of Nintendo Switch 2, as we lead up to the next few weeks, a month probably, or less till announcement. We're getting very close, and it seems like things are ramping up. When people go into holiday mode, leaks could pick up even further because companies will not be able to respond as they'll be MIA out of the office. So it's going to be an exciting time, and I do think we're very much on the right track. Sometimes there's hiccups in the road, and sometimes there's weird posts like Samus Hunter that do make me question a lot. But if you feel worried, if you feel like you've been let down, if you feel like this is all nothing, look at the stock price and you'll know it absolutely is something. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know your take. Hit that like button if you enjoy these videos, and until next time, everybody, thanks so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive out there. Love you lots. SwitchForce out.